Hi there. Welcome to The PrevenTable, the podcast giving you a seat at the table with conversations about the intersection of alcohol, drugs, and mental health in everyday lives. Take a seat and join us.
Welcome to The PrevenTable. Before we get started with our guests today, I want to make sure I give a big thanks to Hubbard Radio for allowing us to share their studio space so that we're able to record these conversations and share them with all of you. Today, I have a guest with me who is a lot of fun because it's always great to hear directly from young people. And today I have Sritha. Hello, Sritha.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. So, Sritha, you're a junior in high school.
Yes.
Yes. And you go to Clayton High School.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you've been involved with Prevent+Ed for a few years. I think it's probably fair to say in different ways.
Yeah, since my freshman year Prevent+Ed stuff. But I've been involved with prevention stuff since my 8th grade year.
Excellent. Excellent. So a true champion, a true leader in this space. And Sritha has graciously volunteered over the last year to be part of our board of directors. So again, we truly value the voice and the experience of teenagers and young people. And one of the ways that we really lean into that is to ask a teenager to be a board representative to help give that perspective or kind of have that experience of serving on a board of directors and help just share with us too. So thank you for doing that. That's probably not always the most exciting thing is board meetings, but I think it's good to have you there.
It's a good experience, definitely. And I think I learn a lot kind of about the other side of things. I think I'm very involved in the advocacy side of it, but getting to see all the financials and all the other amazing stuff that Prevent+Ed is doing that I don't necessarily see on the day to day just because I'm mostly involved with other kids, but getting to see that and being a part of it is definitely it's been a great experience.
Well, good. I'm glad you've felt that way. It's been lovely to have you on the board, but it's a lot of reviewing financials and policy and some of the stuff that is super important to helping the organization run, but kind of behind the scenes, the work of it. Yeah. So what I would like to spend some time, and probably the most of our time talking about today, is that advocacy piece. So if you are a newer listener to the PrevenTable, or if you're not as familiar with Prevent+Ed, so our mission is and has been for decades to prevent and reduce the harms associated with alcohol and other drug use through education, intervention, and advocacy. And I think that advocacy piece is really powerful. It helps us do all those other things that we talk about as an organization of making people aware of our work, helping to reduce stigma, helping to make sure that we're keeping communities safe. All of that can be kind of wrapped up in advocacy. And we can talk about advocacy really broad and all of the components that go into it, but then there are things that we do that are directly work in advocacy. And we've been fortunate and we've been able to have you and other young people involved in some of that advocacy work. So one of those ways is through the event Hear Us. So tell us about Hear Us.
So Hear Us is basically an annual advocacy event that Prevent+Ed hosts, and it's up at the state capitol. And we spend a lot of time and energy planning it. I think, this year we did it in February, and we normally do it in March, but I think that February timeframe was great for us because we got to speak with our legislators, which doesn't always happen in March because they go on spring break and stuff. But that is something that Prevent+Ed host annually, and basically it's a group of young people, and that group has expanded since I've done it. My freshman year when I did it, I want to say we had 6 people doing it, and then or 6 or 8, I'm not sure.
A small group.
Yeah, a small group. But then this year we had, I think, upwards of 25 to 30 people, I want to say, young people going up to the Capitol and advocating about youth substance use and what goes into preventing that and kind of talking with our legislators about our experience in that space. So I think it teaches a lot of young people a lot of great advocacy skills. I know that I have become like a better advocate than I was my freshman year.
So tell me, what has changed? Like how did it feel like your freshman year, and then how do you feel about it now? Like how do you feel like you've grown in that space?
I think like my freshman year, everything obviously I was doing was like a new experience for me. Like hear us, but then also like so much other stuff with school because, you're a freshman and you're trying everything out. So I think I was definitely a lot less confident in myself my freshman year because I kind of had this headspace of like, oh, like I'm going and talking to like my senators and my representatives, and they're these really important people, which obviously they still are. They're very important people.
But they're just people.
Exactly.
Let's emphasize the people part.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what I've realized like my sophomore year and then my junior year now. Like I think like I felt no nervousness going into the room this year, to speak with them. I think we had a really great team of young people that went to speak with them, and to be able to kind of like spearhead that and have us all share our experiences was like the growth that I saw in myself personally. Like I've become so much more confident, and I think more well-spoken, and I think like the preparation that I've been involved in with Hear Us has helped significantly with that. But also I think just like the experience of doing it over and over again has definitely like helped, I think, me become a better advocate. So I think that's a very big piece of it.
It's a huge piece. I mean, it's one reason I really have always liked Hear Us and that event is because you see people who have never had that experience at the Capitol, who are feeling a little unsure and nervous and not really sure what to do. And then, I've had the privilege of getting to like walk in with the young people. And as we're walking to a senator or representative's office, and they're like, I don't know what I'm going to say. And if I mess up, will you help me? And I'm like, I'm here if you need me, And we walk in, and then honestly, most of the time, the young people just kill it and take it from there and do amazing. And also it is very interesting that representatives and senators, for the most part, respond so well to young people that as an adult, and especially in this role, I've spent a lot of time at the Capitol myself, and not that I don't have relationships with some of the elected officials, and I feel like I can have productive conversation, but it is a different response when a group of young people walk into their offices.
Because I think, like, I almost think of it the same way as people think of diamonds, because it's like they're so rare and like you don't ever see them, and it's like, I guess, and obviously older people and like adults bring such an important perspective, but I always say young people are the future. Like
Absolutely.
Like it's so important to get that perspective. So I think that's why legislators are so happy when they get young people like coming up to them, speaking about issues that they're passionate about. And I think that's just like such an important piece of it. And like kind of from being that like nervous freshman walking into the room to like this year, like fast forward to this year, like being able to like comfort like my peers and like help them out and kind of like help guide that conversation for them. So stepping into a different role, I think, because I'm like getting to advocate, but I'm also like getting to lead others.
Yes.
I think that has been so fulfilling for me, and I'm so excited to do. Like I'm already thinking about next year because and I think we had some really, really good conversations this year, and I'm like setting up meetings and stuff with some of my legislators. So Representative Mackey, that's something I'm working on.
So some of the follow-ups. So what are some of the issues that when this year or even in years past, like what are some of those issues that you've really taken the time to make sure you have all the information around and you're ready to have those conversations? Yeah.
So this year specifically, I decided to like at least for the group of people who are in my district, because the way it works logistically is there's usually a couple of kids in each like district for each representative. So every year I like create a group chat with all the people from who are in my district, and I'm like, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? So this year I suggested really focusing on strengthening the DWI laws in Missouri, because that's something that's not necessarily as strong right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure like you would know that. That's something that young people are aware of, because like I've had friends and I've heard experiences of people like their parents getting in trouble for a DWI, but then they're like, oh, they just like got let off, like there wasn't really any consequences, like maybe they had to pay a fine or something like that, but it really wasn't like significant in any way. And I think it's an issue that hits a little bit closer to home for me, because I've had a friend's parent pass away in a drunk driving incident. Yeah, and I think that rubs off on kids when they see their parents not getting in trouble. So then when they're drinking or whatever, and then or under like the influence in any way, it's not as big of a deal to them to just hop in that car and drive, because they've seen their parents do it and they've seen them get off with it.
Right. And so then it doesn't really seem, even though we might do education around the risks and how potentially dangerous that can be, if they're not experiencing that themselves, it's very hard to understand.
Yeah, because it's like their teachers are telling them one thing, but then they're seeing something different applied in the real world. And as much as education is so incredibly important, that application of consequences in the real world are equally as important, especially for young people. So that is something, and I should have brought in the little like Canva poster I made, because this year, this is the first time that I've done it, but there was 2 different bills that related to specifically strengthening DWI laws that I put on my little poster, and I like basically had a bunch of bullet points of different statistics that are specific to Missouri. So like blank number of teens pass away due to drunk driving incidents, like real numbers, where I think it definitely has a bigger impact because it's quantifiable, you know?
Yeah, because they can see those.
Exactly.
They help tell the story a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So that was part of my poster. And then the other issue we focused on also has to do with alcohol use, but I think I paid a little bit closer attention to this because of where I live, because I live in Clayton, and Clayton has a specific ordinance that has to do with social hosting. So it's basically there's like a very, very big penalty specifically in Clayton for parents who host parties and there's underage drinking involved.
Yes.
So, but that ordinance is specific to Clayton, and we've like seen it work over the past couple of years. Like there's not as many parties that happen like specifically in Clayton, because the parents are like aware of that and they're aware of the consequences. Like they're aware of the legal consequences that could ensue if they're like, you know.
And the social host ordinances, those if I remember right, and correct me if I'm wrong, not only are if parents host a party and provide alcohol, but even if there's a party in the home and there's alcohol present. So
and even if the parent isn't there,
right? So even if they say like, "Oh, I didn't know that was happening," like it's still their home, so they still have a level of responsibility to make sure that the things that are happening in their home are not illegal activities and that people are safe.
Yeah, because if the house is under their name, whatever goes on in that house is their responsibility, regardless if they knew or not. So that is something I'm pushing for to be kind of expanded all throughout Missouri.
Nice.
Because I think that's like it's been so effective in Clayton. Like think of how effective it could be if that was like throughout the state of Missouri. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, those are the 2 big things.
Well, very good. Very cool. I think it also is helpful, you know, while we would never want someone to have experiences, and, you know, we don't want people to feel hurt and have those consequences when you're closer to it. Having the data, having the facts, having the information is absolutely necessary, and we have to have that to be able to make the case and share. but also having that heart behind it.
Yeah.
And being able to really relate to it is also powerful when you're talking to somebody.
Yeah.
And that doesn't matter if it's a legislator or anyone else. When it's real to you, people can feel that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think every single legislator that I've spoken with, I've mentioned my friend's parent because I think in a world where there's so much argument and there's so much conflict, having something to relate over and something that humanizes the issues in what you're talking about, whether that have to do with prevention or any advocacy thing, I think is so, so critical because it makes people perk up. It makes people listen because then they think about, similar experiences that they've had or things that they've heard about. So I think it's really important to do in any realm of advocacy.
Absolutely. You mentioned that you are continuing to reach out to and maybe try to meet with some of your elected officials. That's still happening?
Yes. So every single year, and it's actually really funny because the legislators that I've met with last year, so Representative Mackey is a new elected official as of this year. But the representative that I had last year and Senator May as well, I sent them emails every single day, like a month after Hear Us last week, and then every single week up to the point where I was still doing that on the week of Hear Us this year.
No.
So
they kind of know you, right?
Well, I would hope so.
I would hope so.
I would hope so. Yeah. And I can't express how important that is, and it's something that we stress in Elevated Ed. It's something that we speak about on the bus ride home. Like, hey, make sure you are continuing to contact your officials, whether that's through email, phone calls. We even write thank you cards on the way home because I think physical cards are rare these days and they stand out. And then Emily, who is so amazing, she's like the adult sponsor for Elevated Ed. Emily, if you're listening to this, I love you. I can't express how awesome she is, but she sends those out. And so just follow up is so, so important because Representative Mackey, and I continue to email him and I'm hopeful of maybe setting something up just because he seemed invested in it. And I saw him on the House floor with my poster and he was showing other representatives. So that was a really special moment for me. So yeah.
It is. And I think that is something that I've really appreciated and taken away from the time I've been able to either go with young people to the Hear Us event or even just do other advocacy for Prevent+Ed, that we sometimes forget that at the heart and the core of everything is those relationships and that legislators are just people. And so going once and meeting with them, if that's all that you have time for, if that's all people can do, great. That's more than many people do. But continuing to reach out and continuing to have that communication with them builds that relationship. So when you go back next time, they're familiar with you. Or, it's really beautiful. It's so nice when you have that relationship and then maybe the senator or the representative reaches out to you with a question.
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
Say,
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, it'll happen. And you're like, yes, I've made it. But I think, and that's where that back and forth and that true, I don't even know, the true kind of purpose of advocacy happens, and because it's really hard to make quick changes in legislation. We know that that's probably not realistic most of the time. Yeah. But when it's that ongoing conversation, that ongoing information sharing, then you start to see things get redirected a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think it's important to note that it doesn't necessarily have to be an essay of an email or a 10-minute long phone call. I think maybe it takes 2 minutes out of my week every single time because a lot of times I'll copy and paste the email from the last week and change a couple of things. So it's just, not the exact same email. And even if it is the exact same email and you're just trying to get it at the top of their inbox, that's totally fine too. Sometimes it's just copy and pasting something that you've already sent and resending it. But I think it doesn't have to be this huge thing.
No.
Because I have so many other things in my life too, but like this, I always say that advocacy a lot of the times it can be low input, but then high reward. And I think that's something that
You're so wise. Oh, you're so wise.
Thank you.
But it's real, but that's true. Yeah.
Because like just going up to the Capitol one day out of the year, like it doesn't have to be every week, or sending one email that takes 2 seconds, like it doesn't take much of your time at all or your effort, but it like the ripple effect and the impact that it has is so great. And you don't get that with many other things in life.
You don't. So. And many young people don't get that. Yeah. So that's why, I'm being really true when I'm saying you're so wise already as a junior in high school, because I think that a lot of teenagers don't see that bigger picture necessarily, or we also frankly live in a world where we want instant reward and instant gratification. And we know prevention is a long game and advocacy is a long game. And so really being able to recognize that it is those little steps, and it's that little bit of time, it's that little bit of investment, it's those quick interactions, sometimes a short meeting, but all of that together is what can make change happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, this is so wonderful. Other than, really kind of having that, you mentioned, watching your poster and your information get shared on the floor. Has there been any other favorite moments of Hear Us over the years?
I think the dinners that we do before each, because basically like the way that transportation works, we all take a big bus up there. It's like a charter bus, and Scooby has been our driver for the past 2 years, and I absolutely love him. He's the best. But basically we all go up there together, and then we all stay in the same hotel, and then we always do hotel or dinner at the hotel in like some form. Like my freshman year and this year, it was like the hotel provided it, and my sophomore year we did pizza.
Yeah.
But it's because with Hear Us, the way it works, all of the workshops that we do before are digital. So a lot of the times, especially if we have new folks coming into the program, you don't necessarily like get to know them until you're there and chatting with them.
And that's because it's students from all over the St. Louis region. So it'd be really hard to coordinate multiple in-person meetings leading up to the event.
So, and I think that's the benefit of doing everything digitally, because you get so much information and so much great planning time, but it's also really, really convenient. So if there's any young people listening, make sure you do it next year. But like those dinners and getting to like chat with everyone, like new people and old people, and like this year, like people who have been doing it for like 2 years with me, and like seeing, like building those connections and like fostering those relationships. I think, because I'm a very big relationships gal, I think that's like you were saying, it's like the foundation for everything in life. So I think those moments of connection are definitely my favorite moments, like throughout the whole thing, because I think it's so rare that you're in a room full of young people who like care so deeply about the same thing that you do. And having that, I think, is really special to me. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, if you're listening and you're wondering, how can I get more involved in PrevenTED's advocacy work, or with Hear Us, or have a young person that you think should definitely be part of this next year, we more than welcome them. I'd encourage you to visit the PrevenTED website at www.prevented.org. And Sritha, I know, will be ready to help guide and coach young people for the next year. You're senior in high school, so for the next school year, you'll be ready to show some other kids the ropes there.
Yes, 100%. And then for signups for next year, we generally post them about a month and a half in advance. So that will be on the PrevenTED website. And then if you are looking to join the coalition before that, because PrevenTED, Hear Us is one of the biggest things that Elevated Ed puts on, which is the youth coalition of PrevenTED. There's a lot of steps down, but that's how it works. But if you want to put like my email or Emily's email or something in the description of the podcast.
If you reach out to PrevenTED, we can get you connected. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Sritha, thank you so much for joining me
today. Thank you so much
today.
for having me. This has been so good.
This is so much fun. And again, it's always my favorite part to have the voice of young people and young people involved. And so I truly thank you for all that you've given to PrevenTED. If you like what you've heard and you want to hear more, join us for future conversations and make sure to subscribe at anywhere you get your podcasts. We'll see you next time on The PrevenTable.
Thanks for joining us at The PrevenTable, brought to you ad-free by PrevenTED. PrevenTED works to reduce or prevent the harms of alcohol and other drug use through education, intervention, and advocacy. Please visit their website at prevented.org. Like what you heard? Rate, review, and subscribe to stay up to date with what we are serving on The PrevenTable.